You're listening to Odyssey, A Tale from the Road, an audiobook by Christopher Cologne. All rights reserved. Any resemblance to persons living or dead are purely coincidental.
Chapter 18. I tried to talk to her in between swings. I am not a cop. Stop hitting me. Let me explain. She just kept yelling, "Yes, you are. Just admit it. I'll stop as soon as you admit it." I instinctively reached out to protect myself and I caught the dildo mid-swing. It hurt the meaty part of my palm. "Don't you think that if I was a cop, I would have shot you by now? No cop in the world would just stand by and let you hit him with a giant rubber dick." I tried to reason with her. "I'm not worth anything to the whale if I'm dead. That's why you didn't shoot me." She looked emotional, like she was about to cry. Bipolar mood swing. She switched from violent to vulnerable during her last comment. Her burst of aggression must have worn her out. "I promise you I'm not a cop." I had to take advantage, before the pendulum swung back. "Now you gotta promise me, that you're not going to hurt me, or my friend in the cage, anymore. Swear to me that we discuss this like rational human beings." The lioness had turned into a kitten. "Okay, I promise. I won't hurt anybody else, I swear. That includes yourself, right? I've dealt with a lot of self-destructive women on the road before. Cutters, suicidal types, all yearning for some attention. But I was just a band-aid on a gushing head wound. I should have been a therapist for all the issues I helped girls get through. But my therapist's couch was only available the one night I happened to be in their town. I never took advantage of a girl I knew wasn't in her right mind. Some girls didn't let you know they were crazy until after you fucked them. Either that, or I was just too horny to see the red flags beforehand. Yes, I won't hurt myself either." She gulped. "Now, all that struggle made me thirsty. Where's your kitchen? I need to get something to drink. Then we can discuss the terms of letting my friend go." She had pointed me towards the kitchen, as she wiped away the almost tears that were welling up in her eyes. What a stunning shade of brown those eyes had been. Once she gets level-headed, I'm sure she was downright adorable. With a devilishly naughty side to her. It was the side that came out when she worked on her clients, but it was also the side that wanted to beat me with a rubber dildo, so I had to be careful. I'm glad she didn't follow me to the kitchen. I'm sure she was used to strange men walking around her apartment. She was a hostess of sorts, so it came with the territory, to be prepared for all occasions and clients' tastes. Now was the time. I had to slip her the medication without arousing her suspicions. The kitchen was well stocked. Then I saw the Gatorade sports drink. It was sweet enough to cover up the nasty flavor of the pill dust. I had seen a news program once about a wife, who used tainted Gatorade, lacing it with small doses of automobile antifreeze coolant, to kill her husband. The husband drank it for months without catching on. Then the chemicals started to make his organs fail and he died. The wife would have gotten away with it, if she wasn't so flagrant about her life after she buried her husband. His family got suspicious and had his body exhumed and autopsied, and they discovered the evidence of foul play. It would be my Trojan horse. We were both winded from our little physical exchange, so a sports drink would seem like a natural choice. I opened the bottle and poured the contents into 2 clean glasses. I double-checked to make sure I wasn't being watched, and emptied the contents of the envelope into what would be her glass. "Gatorade, don't fail me now." I just had to keep mentally repeating to myself, "She gets the one in my left hand. I'm right-handed, so that's the hand I'll drink from naturally. I'll keep hers in my left hand." Being in a strange apartment, I walked cautiously. I didn't know what to expect from room to room. She could have had a roommate that Corey didn't know about, or some vicious attack dog behind one of these doors. Who knows, maybe Dimitri wasn't her only captive in this apartment. In this empty town, a person's screams would go unanswered, no response from the cops. She had no neighbors to complain to the cops. I guess that came in handy when you had a paying customer strapped to a table, and you were whipping him within an inch of his life. Whatever floats your boat. I'm not one to judge. I did see dog leashes and chains laying around, but in this apartment, you didn't know if they were used on animals or people. The same went for the dog dish I saw on the floor. There were all types of fetishes out there. Treating a man like an animal was one of the more tame ones. But Dimitri wasn't one of her clients, he was her captive. If we did call the cops, she would have a kidnapping charge. I guess that's why she freaked at the idea that I might be a cop. I just wanted to get Dima, and get the hell out of here. I heard Dimitri's voice. It reminded me of when we were hanging upside down in the caddy. His was the last voice I heard, when I asked the guys if they were okay. I was so relieved when I finally heard it. It meant he was still alive. Just like now. She might have kept him against his will, but at least she didn't hurt him badly or kill him. Who knew what she might have done to him in her state of mind? When I walked in the room, I saw Dimitri stretching and rubbing his muscles. Layla had let him out. He had to be sore. I had seen the cramped cage she was keeping him in. Andy. Dimitri said when he looked over and recognized my face. He ran over and gave me a hug. Our relationship wasn't the touchy-feely kind, but he was grateful that he had been saved. I didn't have that bullshit macho homophobia, when it came to men embracing in anything more than a handshake. Dima was my brother and he was genuinely happy to see me, so I thought nothing more of it. He hugged me so hard I almost dropped the glasses in my hands. Layla sat there with remorse in her eyes. She waited, half expecting Dimitri to thrash her for locking him up in the cage. He didn't. Dimitri wasn't the vengeful type. He was happy to be free. Relax, I told Layla, we're not going to hurt you. Have something to drink. I handed her the glass. She thought nothing of it and drank it down. Mission accomplished, at least I hope so. I wondered how long it would take before her medication kicked in and she turned back into the person she was supposed to be. I have friends waiting outside for us. It's been a while since they last saw me. They might get worried and bust down the door, thinking that I've been captured also. I told her. Go get them. Invited them up. Mi casa es su casa. She had said in a resigned manner. I went and got Jimmy, and Steven. Here we were all reunited in Layla's apartment. I told the guys everything that happened before we walked in the door so they knew the deal, even the humiliating part about the dildo lashing. Jimmy got a good laugh out that. Layla recognized Steven and he handed her the package he was supposed to deliver a while back. I could see, by the look in her eyes, that the medication was starting to take effect. She was relaxed and had her wits about her. I could tell she felt bad about everything, and she appreciated that we weren't going to make her pay for her actions when she was, obviously, not in her right mind. With this unofficial fresh start, she would take her meds on time and not hurt anybody, except for the men who paid her to hurt them, that is. So tell me, I addressed Layla, when I came to your door, you thought I might be one of Arnie Ealis's men. What business do they have with you? Why would they come here to harass you? And why would you want me to tell the whale to kiss your ass? She sighed. It's a long story. The whale and my dad used to be business associates. Who is your dad? What does he do? You mean what doesn't he do? My dad runs the Rey del Sol Casino on the Seneca Nation Native American Reservation. It turns out my dad is 1/8 Native American, which means I'm 1/16 Seneca. He used proof of his ancestry and shady connections through the whale to open up the casino. It's Mayan/Aztec themed, because there was enough Native American themed ones in the area and my dad wanted to be different. Anyway, since the whale helped my father get the grease the right palms to get the casino up and running, Arnie thinks that my father owes him indefinitely. The whale will never be satisfied. Every time my father refused to help, Arnie threatens him with calling the gaming commission and shutting him down. Isn't it ironic? It's the same underworld connections that the whale used to get the casino built. Now Arnie threatens to ruin my father's public reputation, by revealing those connections to the media. Don't get me wrong, my father is no saint. He's done his share of illegal activity for the whale. There's lots of blood on my father's hands, more than enough. But Arnie still wants his pound of flesh, that my father paid up a long time ago. And now that I've gone into business for myself, Arnie thinks that I owe him a piece of my business, also. His logic is that since he helped my father get the money that I borrowed to start up my business, now I owe him, by proxy. Arnie was always a bloated greedy parasite. And your father knows you do this. My hand scanned the room, pointing at all the sex dungeon equipment. Alright, so maybe I was being a little judgmental. Not the thing you would expect a rich little princess to be doing, huh? She started to look defensive. It may not be much, and it's in this shitty town, but I do pretty good for myself. I paid my father back all the money I borrowed from him. Now I take care of myself. I don't have to live under his thumb, because I spend his money. Just like the spoiled brat kids of other rich people. I started my own business and I can make a profit, too. Besides, my father is the last person on earth to judge people on how they earn their living. People gamble their lives away and he lays his head on his pillow every night knowing that other people's bankruptcy, both moral and financial, help put the roof over his head. So you're out to prove yourself. I can appreciate that. I was trying to give her credit, but she didn't want to get any from me. I don't have to prove a motherfucking thing. Not to you. Not to my father. Not to anybody. She became furious. This had nothing to do with pills or paranoia. This had to do with pride. I could dig it. So I changed the subject, to give her a chance to calm down. We're on the run from Arnie Ellis ourselves. We're trying to get home, but he would rather see us dead before that happens. See, we had gotten in a tussle with his son and as a result, let's just say Gabby is going to save a lot of money on his electric bills. Layla cheered up. I heard about that. You guys busted up his strip club and then stabbed Gabriel in the eye. I think you may have heard the exaggerated version of what really happened. Damn, those mobsters gossip worse than a knitting circle. But the point of the matter is, the whale is out for our blood. I don't suppose there's any way you would help us. I mean, we've been awfully understanding over this whole kidnapping thing. It would only be fair if you helped us out. No problem. I get where you're coming from. Even if we didn't have our unfortunate exchange, I would have helped you anyway. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Now we were getting somewhere.
Please visit twostrangersonePodcast.net.